DreAllDay.com.
Brought to you by the Mental Workbook, your self-guide to becoming the person you want to be for the rest of your life. DreAllDay.com. Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. This video is about talking to yourself. We all talk to ourselves. We're our most frequent companion. We're with ourselves the most. And while we do all have conversations with ourselves, I'm going to tell you how you can start to control and direct that conversation you have with yourself, both internally, meaning the thoughts that you have, thinking to yourself is talking to yourself, and externally, when you actually speak and say things to yourself. Here are some ways you can control that conversation and kind of make it work for you. Number one thing you got to understand, and the reason I'm talking about this is what I just said, is that we're our most frequent companions. We talk to ourselves more than anybody else talks to us. I don't care if you watch every video somebody puts out, you listen to every episode somebody put out of their podcast, somebody's on the radio 6 hours a day, and you listen to every minute of their show. You talk to yourself more than they talk to you, more than anybody else, more than any book, more than any guru or expert or influencer or whatever you want to call it. So since you're with yourself the most, you should probably start to examine, look at, and start to control that conversation, because it has more effect on you than anyone else's conversation. And we all know that through conditioning, anything that we hear often or do often or see often or experience as a feeling often enough is going to become part of us, right? You can tie your shoes without thinking about it now because you've done it so many times. You condition yourself for it. You can brush your teeth, and anything else that you do, whether you play a sport, if you're good at typing on a computer or writing on your phone or driving a car, those are all things you condition yourself to do because you're doing them all the time. So since you're talking to yourself, because you're with yourself all the time, even when you're listening to me right now, you're still talking to yourself because you're analyzing what I'm saying and examining, what does this mean for you? Or maybe you're not even listening to me. You got me tuned out because you're thinking about something else that's going on in your mind. Since you do it so much, talk to yourself, that is, you're conditioning yourself with whatever that conversation is. So that's why this is such an important conversation that you need to take control over. You have more influence over yourself, this is point number 2, than anyone else is going to have over you because of this conversation. So what is it that you're influencing yourself with? What are you telling yourself? What are you saying about yourself? When you look in the mirror, what do you see? When you do something that doesn't work out, what are you saying to yourself? When you do something you're not sure is going to work, when somebody else tells you this is not going to work, you're failing, you're no good, you're a bum, you're garbage, I don't know if that's going to work, maybe you should try something different, or someone's just completely indifferent to you, they just not even paying you any mind, but you're trying to get their attention. What is the internal conversation that happens as a result of that? Because you need to understand that what you say to you is more important than what I or anyone else, whether it's positive, negative, neutral, says to you in life. How are you influencing yourself with your internal conversation? So these are questions that you need to ask yourself here. So I'm not trying to give you all the answers every day. Sometimes I'm going to give you some questions and you need to come up with these answers. And the third point is this: you speak anything enough in life, you're going to believe it. You say anything to yourself often enough. It doesn't have to be true. It does not have to be based in reality. It doesn't have to be based on past experience. It don't have to have a precedent of anybody else doing it before you. Anything you say to yourself often enough, you will believe it, you will act on it, and you will make it real in your life. So what is it that you're saying to yourself? What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe is possible for you? What do you believe is true for you? What has actually happened, but you're not accepting it, so you're not saying it to yourself? What has not happened, but you've decided that it's true, so you're saying it to yourself over and over again? Again, positive, negative, indifferent. What are you saying to yourself to condition yourself? Because anything that you keep saying, you will believe it and you will act it out. Now, if you want to know what your conversation to yourself has been up to this point in your life, all you got to do is look around. Look around at your life. Look around at the people around you. Look at your energy. Look at your internal conversations. Look at the way that you work, the way that you live, the way that you deal with your friends, your loved ones, your family, what you see when you look in the mirror, your constant automatic thoughts that are happening unconsciously. You start thinking about and make those thoughts conscious. All of those will let you know what you've been saying to yourself all through your life up to this point. And if any of those things you don't like, all you got to do is change your internal conversation about it, and that'll change everything for you. I guarantee it. I wrote a book called The Mental Workbook. You saw about that at the beginning of this video. That'll help you handle these situations. So if you've had any of these situations and you want to deal with that internal conversation and kind of direct it the way that you want it to be directed, I'll help you do that. Get the Mental Workbook. I guarantee it will produce results for you. My name is Dre Baldwin. Website DreAllDay.com. Work on your game.